Okay, today is October 21st, 2016, and this is a special meeting of the members of the State Liquor Authority. Present in the Albany offices of the authority are Chairman Bradley and Commissioner Ford, and myself, Secretary of Authority Donahue. In New York City is the authority's General Counsel Flug, and I believe appearing on behalf of the Office of Counsel is Associate Attorney Buckley. The only item on today's calendar is a request from the Office of Counsel for a emergency summary order of suspension regarding LRPP Incorporated, Bronx OP 1262352. Counsel's office.
Thank you, Secretary Donahue. Yes, this matter is being referred to the members, as you stated, for proposed emergency summary order suspension. This matter, this licensee has been referred to the counsel's office from various sources. There's been, as it states in the memo, there's been march operations at the location in April of this year, too. And, of course, most recently, there was a shooting just directly outside this location this Sunday, early Sunday morning, October 9th, 2016. Basically, the background and location of this premises, as I've stated, is that it was supposed to be originally a restaurant on the first floor. It's on the, it's technically 400 Claremont Parkway, I believe the address is, but if you see oftentimes referrals will say, I think, 1538 Webster Avenue, which is the main thoroughfare in the Bronx. The premises is on, that's why I included a photograph. It's sort of an acute angle. So sometimes it's referred to as Webster, but the whole point is that the licensee has been using an emergency exit on Webster Avenue to have apparently after-hours activity there. He was confronted in April 2016 and indicated there were private parties going on there, and he was told, you know, this was not permitted.
By who? By who?
I believe that was Investigator Pardo.
Oh, the police or us?
Oh, well, it was a march operation, so
Okay.
Investigator Pardo would advise Mr. Porto Real, the licensee, he needs to file an alteration application if he's going to use a basement, because he's the owner of the building, and he stated that the basement was not going to be used for any purpose, actually, not even for storage.
And to date, he has not applied for that.
There's been no alteration application filed, and then in May of 2016, the New York City Police Department's vice operation did several investigations there where alcohol beverages were being sold and consumed after hours at this location, and in fact, Mr. Porto Real was present on at least one of the occasions, and he has full knowledge. So there's 4 proceedings going on, as well as, you know, once the shooting occurred, the 43rd precinct, the 43rd precinct, 42nd precinct, excuse me, sent us referrals, or not referrals, but 911 calls, complaints, et cetera, from beginning of 2014, which indicates there's been fighting, guns discharged. Mr. Porterell seems to be there on a regular basis. In fact, he's been, I think, assaulted at least on one occasion by his customers. So it seems to be his business as usual. He's been nuisance abated. That's a pending nuisance abatement. There's been 4 proceedings. There's now 4 proceedings. I've discussed this matter, you know, before this shooting incident with Mr. Mela, who represents Mr. Porterell's location, and we discussed some sort of possible settlement of this matter. So the licensee is fully aware of how his using this basement is against the law. And again, we have this shooting at, I believe, at 3:57 a.m. The 911 calls come in. It seems to be sort of a, sounds like sort of a settling a score. We don't really have a lot of information how this happened. The person who was shot 4 times was uncooperative with the police in the hospital. The other person did give a sketchy description as to what happened, but it occurred immediately outside the side door that the licensee uses for entry into this basement area. And there's no security posted there, according to Investigator Pardo speaking with the police because he doesn't want to tip off anybody that he's using this basement area, this illegal operation. And I've just looked today and still on Instagram, there seems to be another event going on today, Friday, October 21st, where there's several DJs performing. It is, just fortunate to some degree that there was no other bystanders who were hit, or if these persons ran into the location and the shooter decided to follow in, who knows how many people, innocent people, may have been injured. So certainly it seems to be that there's a need, I feel, is at least a finding that can be made, there's a need for an emergency order summary suspension of this license based on all this recent problems at this location.
Were these victims of the shooting inside the after-hours club or inside the regular club, or don't we know?
Apparently just outside this, what should be an emergency exit that leads to the basement, that would be on Webster Avenue.
But were they ever inside?
According to what Investigator Pardo was telling me, that her information is that the person who was shot 4 times is a promoter. So it said he was there, and also apparently the other person says he knows him from hanging out in this place, as he stated. So apparently both were patrons.
And you mentioned there's no security at the after-hours part of the bar. Who's collecting the $20 cover charge?
Well, at least at the door, outside on the street. It could very well be that the cover charge is collected once you get inside.
Okay.
So in other words, as the Vice undercover officer was told, okay, it's 4:30 or whatever time, 4 o'clock. The party is over on the first floor, but if you want to continue, you go downstairs, outside, and then through that side door on Webster Avenue.
How long have they been licensed?
The license, I believe, was issued, no, I didn't put that in. I believe that was in
12.
was 12, okay, and then shortly thereafter, they changed their trade name from La Fortuna Restaurant to Gravity Lounge.
Okay. Anything?
Did they have their method of operation, were they allowed to have a promoter or anything like that? And have we ever levied any fines against them for anything?
The method of operation was as a restaurant, 104 people, 4 employees, no security, so we were given a menu with a full-service restaurant.
Right.
And there's not much I put the adverse history in the second to last page, so there's really not really any significant adverse history, no particular instance of violence.
Second to last page of his memo.
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry, I did see this. All right.
But yeah, again, it just really sort of defies belief. There's a pending nuisance abatement action, proceedings brought by the Liquor Authority. The police have told us it's a place that saps their resources. And it continues to operate in apparent defiance of business as usual. And this, particularly, in this way, having club activity, again, he's been there, Mr. Portial seems to be there on a constant basis, and again, he's been subject himself of assaults.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready to vote.
All right, Chairman Bradley? Commissioner Ford?
I vote to suspend, based on the fact that things have escalated to the point that people are being shot in and around the bar, based on the fact that he is blatantly disregarding his approved method of operation by having parties, and it looks like there was evidence of some type of hookah parties downstairs in the basement. I see where there have been people were let in and paying in excess of $200 for bottles of Hennessy, clearly in violation of their license. So I vote to suspend.
I vote to suspend as well. It's clear that the public safety and welfare requires emergency action at this time, as Commissioner Ford pointed out. it's now escalated to violence with the shooting, but it's not only are they violating their method of operation, but even after a warning, they continue to have illegal after-hours parties, and it sounds like they're gonna have one tonight. And they clearly got a direct warning during a March operation, and at this point, it seems like there's a consistent violation of the ABC law based on the number of actions that we have. So not only is it a drain on our resources, but we've been told it's also a drain on the police department's resources, so I vote to summarily suspend.
I have nothing else on the calendar unless either member says anything.
Nope.
And the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.